Hola, hermanitos. ¿Cómo estás? Hi, little sisters and little brothers. How are you guys doing? Go ahead and comment that down below. Tell me, how are you doing? How has your day been going? Yeah, talk to me. What's up? What's up? Me personally, my day's been going pretty well so far. Yeah. I've been thinking about a lot of things, trying to figure out a lot of things, but like the mood of it, it's been pretty nice. So, let me know how you guys are feeling, how your day is going. What did you guys do so far? When are you watching my video? Etc., etc. All right. Welcome to part 1 of the series, Loving When It's Hard, Why Are People Mean? Ready? Remember, the whole reason that we are going over this is so that we can understand people. And when we can understand why they're mean, we will no longer be so stressed out or bothered by their meanness, because we can have compassion and understand that it has more to do with them, less to do with us. And what can we as God's children do to help out? So, the reasons we are going to talk about today are insecurities and jealousies. And these last ones are actually related by cause and effect, okay? So, insecurities and jealousy is the effect, but next week we're going to be talking about the causes, right? So, what do you think is the cause of these two symptoms, jealousy and insecurity? What do you think is one of the causes? Comment that down below. Guess what next week's video is going to be like. And all right, so a lot of times, which I'm sure you guys have always heard this, like since kids, I know this has been very common for me growing up. Oh, they're just mean to you because they're jealous, you know? And I feel like that's something we hear so much that we're just like, yeah, okay, that's what you're saying, but I know what it looks like, all right? But I'm here to tell you that a lot of times that could actually be the case, okay? So let's start off with jealousy, okay? Jealousy clouds people's judgment, right? It clouds their judgment, and it makes them feel like you see yourself a certain way that you may not. It makes them narrate the story themselves, right? Where they in turn are like, she thinks she on that. Or, wow, that is not fair. Like, clearly she did something illegal in order to get to where she is now. Or you can't relate to what I'm going through. He could never relate to what I'm going through. His life is just perfect. He got it all easy. Right? It clouds your judgment when you have jealousy, because you're not thinking about that person. You're thinking about yourself and what you don't have, which is why you're jealous. And that's where jealousy comes from. Jealousy comes from thinking about what you don't have versus being grateful for what you do have, to the point where when other people get stuff, right, instead of you cheering them on and being like, oh my goodness, that's so great, I'm so glad to hear that, you're mad about it, right? You're mad about it, and then you start narrating and making up your own scenarios, and now you may find yourself in turn being mean to that person because of the story that you made up in your head of them being all that, or of them rubbing it in your face, versus just being happy for that person. So that's one thing. The second thing is that jealousy can lead to bitterness, because that person wants what you have, right? It was really weird. I had a friend when I was younger, and I guess we were jealous of each other, right? When I was younger, I was jealous because she got a lot of attention from the guys I wanted attention from, right? The silliest thing to be jealous about, like, now that I think about it. Anyways, that is why I was jealous, though, because she was so amiable. Like, people seemed drawn to her and everything, and I was like, I want to be like that, right? And she was jealous of me for a much deeper reason. I mean, that makes way more sense than my little jealousy. But she was jealous of me because of my family, because I had a nice, loving family who cared about me, who made my guests feel welcome whenever I had friends over, specifically talking about my mom and stepdad. That's who she was jealous of. She was jealous, like, of course there were issues and everything, but overall, you could tell there was love and that they were trying, right? And that's what she was jealous about. And my jealousy, it was real small, it was just like that's really cool. More of like a looking up to her, actually. But hers turned into bitterness, right? Where suddenly she was acting completely different. And she was trying to ruin my reputation in public or make me feel bad. And the root of that ended up being that jealousy, wishing that she had what I had, and that manifesting and growing into bitterness. Because if you continue to go through something and you continue to see somebody else and you feel like they're doing so much better than you, then that will continue to turn into bitterness until you are looking to bring them down, when they did absolutely nothing to you, but you personally are feeling bad. So for anyone who has jealousy or who's thinking about that, please, I want to warn you guys now to look out for that, pay attention to that, and stop it, like nip it in the bud, right? Because that's not good. And you have so much, even if you can't see it at the moment, I want you to take the time to look at what you have in life. Are you still alive? Are you healthy? Do you have all of your body parts intact? Are you able to walk? Are you able to go to school and learn? Do you have a place to live? Do you have food? Okay, just look at all the things that you have and make it a habit to look at what you're grateful for, so that you don't get to a point where you are becoming bitter from jealousy. Okay, so that is one thing I want to point out and I want to warn you guys about, because jealousy could definitely turn into just a lot. It's one of those things that you want to look out for, okay? And the more you realize how awesome you are and what all you have, the less likely you are to be jealous of other people. Like, I don't get jealous of other people anymore because I understand who I am. I understand everybody has their own journey. So I don't have to compare where I'm at to where somebody else is, because I have my journey, they have theirs. I know I'm blessed. I know God takes care of me, looks after me. And yeah, and I know I was made with a purpose, fearfully and wonderfully made, just the way I am. So how could I be jealous of somebody else when we're all fearfully and wonderfully made and meant to be the person we were meant to be? So boom, jealousy. That's one main reason people are mad. The second one is their own insecurities, okay? And let me show you how this will translate. If you have insecurities, then it's more likely for you to feel jealous because somebody else has what you don't have or is what you are not, right? So that's one thing. The second thing is insecurities lead to defense mechanisms a lot of times. A lot of times when people are insecure about something about them, it causes them to be defensive, right? Let's say you already think somebody is going to pick on you because you are small. You already have that in your head. It is an insecurity of yours, being smaller than everyone else. So when you approach people, instead of being your normal nice self, you become defensive. You're a little bit meaner. You're a little bit more aggressive because you're trying to show people you don't want to mess with me because you have an insecurity, right? You want to make sure they do not mess with you. So you're going to mess with them before they can mess with you, because in your head, you already see how it's going to go down. You already know what's going to happen. So that's one thing. It becomes a defense mechanism. And a lot of times people are mean because they have an insecurity and they're trying to defend themselves or protect themselves from that insecurity being revealed, or from it being teased or messed with, right? They don't want to be messed with because they're insecure about something. So they are going to become meaner, more closed off, so that you cannot mess with them. Okay, so that's one thing. When you have insecurities, it becomes a defense mechanism. One thing I've noticed, like in school, when I was in school, is that the people who seemed more outgoing and relaxed and just, cool, were not worried about other people. They were not. It was not a conscious worry on their mind. And the people who were more withdrawn and mean, like, quick to anger and everything, those are the ones who had more of a conscious worry on their mind, right? They were trying to protect themselves. It wasn't that, oh, these people are so nice and these people are so mean per se, but these people have less insecurity. They're not really worried about people as much as they are. They are really worried about people messing with them, and they want to defend themselves, protect themselves, and because of that, they're a little bit meaner. Of course, that's not always the case, but in a lot of cases, it is. Like, I know with me personally, I was the same way. I would be more mean and closed off and kind of withdrawn if I was worried about being teased, or if I was worried about not being accepted because of who I was. And when I wasn't thinking about that, when I could care less about what people think or say, then I'm my normal, bubbly, happy, and talkative self. So that's just one thing I noticed. One thing that I want you guys to take into perspective is that it's not always that they're mean, but maybe they don't feel safe. Maybe they're trying to protect themselves. And usually people who are trying to protect themselves and have those insecurities, they're like that because it has happened before, right? So another thing about insecurities that could lead to is people being easily offended. Okay, it's kind of like if you're like, if your arm is perfectly normal, how it normally is, if somebody pokes your arm, it's not really going to hurt. You're just going to be like, okay. But if you have a big sore there, like you just bruised it, and somebody pokes it, it's going to hurt, even if they lightly touch it. And a lot of times when people have insecurities, they have pain or past wounds that they've never healed from, right? Like people bullied them in the past about this, and this. People called them names or called them stupid or ugly or whatever. And because they never healed from that, whenever you touch around that area, they are quick to get offended because it is easy for them to feel attacked, and because they still have pain that they did not heal from. Okay, so that's one thing I want you to look out for. If you notice you are like that, like where you find yourself overreacting, even if somebody didn't really do anything or say anything crazy, I would consider looking into what past pains you have that you have not healed from, what insecurities you have embedded in you that you need to let go of, right? Because we are all made wonderfully. We all have flaws, but we also all have gifts, talents, and amazing things about us. So without you, our world would not be the same. And because of that, you were made to be yourself, not to be insecure about how God made you. Okay? So that is one thing. And that's something else to look out for, people. Like if you notice you're talking to somebody and maybe you say, you're so silly, and that person like gets mad, right? Have you ever had that happen where you say something and you don't understand the problem at all? You were just being kind, or you were just being joking or something, and they took it completely opposite or the complete wrong way. That is usually what it has to do with, because they have previous pain or insecurities, and you touched way too close to it when you said that. Like, they were always called stupid and immature when they were younger, and then you called them silly, which just got a little bit too close to those past insults that their parents would give them, and now it erupted into something bigger. Okay, so those are the two things I want you to look at: insecurities and jealousy. So look into yourself. Do you have any of these things? Do you struggle with any of these things? And look at the people around you who you talk to. Do you feel like they may struggle with any of these things? Because if so, I want you to look at how you can grow and recover and heal from that, and how you could be more patient with the person who has those insecurities and jealousies. How you could be more patient, more kind, and less irritable with those people, okay? Remember, a lot of times when people are mean, it has nothing to do with you, everything to do with what they're going through, okay? And I just want to clarify, I am not excusing meanness. I am not. But the reason why I'm making these videos is so that people who notice these traits can do what they can to heal from them, so that they could be nicer to everyone. And so that us, as we are God's child and as we are trying to be nicer to others, we can see these things, have more compassion, and then respond nicelier. Nicelier, that's the word today. All right, so if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below, what are some things you are dealing with, or have you noticed this at all? And I will see you guys probably Wednesday.